Let's talk about Devil in Ohio, Netflix's latest suspense thriller series of 8 episodes, which sees a young woman escaping from a mysterious devil-worshipping cult. I'm going to recap key moments, plot details, and characters from the series in my review, meaning there will be spoilers ahead, as well as sharing my own personal thoughts and feelings. On the whole, Devil in Ohio was very much a run-of-the-mill Netflix show, nothing too crazy or fancy, with a lot of squandered potential. The series was created by Daria Politan based on her own novel, so this work is close to the original author's intentions. I personally haven't read the book, so I can only discuss the series for what it is rather than make comparisons, but if you have read the book, it'd be cool to hear what you thought. I think my main issue with Devil in Ohio was the very interesting core idea of the show was tapped into very sparingly, with a bunch of typical teen drama subplots going on to pad things out. So essentially we have our cult escapee, May, played by Madeleine Arthur, who does a pretty wonderful job here. I loved her conviction on her nervousness and oddness in the opening handful of episodes. Rather similar to Carrie in her shyness, with evil lurking deeper within the skin of a naive girl. Carrie is even referenced later in the Halloween costume episode, both the original and remake. But anyway, May breaks away from Amon Town, a secluded, underdeveloped cult of Lucifer worshippers, trying to keep the chain together by sacrificing those that Lucifer marks. May is marked with a pentagram on her back, but she flees Amon Town to escape her fate, therefore breaking the chain. There have been cases of people breaking the chain before, such as a man named Enoch disguised as a priest under an alias, so even though breaking the chain is fixable, it means that there's still going to be a lot of bother coming after you. May stumbles across Suzanne, played by Emily Deschanel, a psychiatrist who takes in May to become her guardian, along with her other 3 kids, Jules, Helen and Danny. To continue on with my main issue again, a lot of the show is teen drama plot threads based. Jules and Helen have fallings out, Jules and May make friends and then fall out over a boy, and then Jules stops seeing that boy and starts seeing another boy, and there's just all this drama about the upcoming harvest ball and what's gonna happen after graduation. It's just about half a dozen darts thrown into a board with stereotypical high school narratives attached to it. The stomach of Devil in Ohio was really quite intriguing in the early stages, but it began to lose me the more it advanced, purely down to where the series led. That's more of a me thing though. Generally speaking, I'm not the biggest fan of that kind of show, so I was kind of hoping to get more of the cult horror elements coming through, and they didn't deliver on that for my own tastes. I imagine you probably get a lot more out of a show like this, or enjoy it more, if you kinda like those Riverdale type series. In principle, the core idea here is cool. I love the crow masks of the worshippers, the idea of having a member of that society break out and discover the modern world properly was pretty neat. It's almost like a couple of shades of M. Night Shyamalan's The Village there, and at first having May displayed as a fish out of water character, not speaking too much at first, saying a blessing at dinner but having it aimed at the morning star instead of God, that was all really intriguing, and the first 3 episodes had me longing to discover the mystery. But the actual mystery solving elements came across as a bit base to me. It's that Blumhouse format of the mystery being set up. Oh, what's going on here? Oh, there's a person who has all the information I need. Brilliant. Pamela Hawkins exists purely to be an exposition dump. And it's dull to me when you get characters like that, like they can only be information for moving the story forwards rather than fleshed out people. Generally, quite a lot of the characters here felt a bit cookie cutter as well. It doesn't mean to say this show was irritating though, it was entertaining to watch, but felt like something I'd already seen when I was watching it, and that's never a good sign. It was a little too familiar to a point where the genre suspense thriller didn't apply to me, as it was neither really suspenseful or thrilling. The cult was, whenever it was seen in the early stages, and the soundtrack to this show was masterfully handled with a mixture of poetic folk music in a lot of its key segments. That was a real strength here, great music selection. But vice versa, a lot of the ways in which the cult was handled felt a bit on the nose. In shows like this, you can get names and visual references that are deliberate references to folklore or history. Sometimes it can come across as like cool Easter eggs, but other times it can come across a bit forced. Here, I felt there were quite a few forced examples. So we have the cult who use crows in their worship, crows being often associated with death. And what's the name of the company who runs the farms? Corvus. Nice one. Oh, and there's a sheriff with a dog named Cerberus. Classic. Then we have Amon Town. Amon spelled A-M-O-N here, but if you were to mention mention Aemon, you'd be talking about Amon, the demon of life and reproduction, much how the worshippers of the town bring life to and reproduce the power of Lucifer with their sacrifices, keeping the chain together. It almost felt like they removed the E from Amon to try and throw you off the scent there, but I think they pulled that same trick with May, spelled M-A-E in this series. The cult in which she is a part of has a Gaelic name, which I'm not even going to risk butchering a pronunciation of here. However, if you combine Gaelic culture with M-A-Y, you could think of the 1st of May festival of Beltane, the Gaelic festival which uses bonfires, historically linked with being the start of summertime. Though not strictly demonic, Beltane has been said to bring about Lucifer, my source to that information being the Doctor Who story, The Demons. Beltane has an almost paganistic following, and the creation of bonfires is similar to how members of the Amon Town cult burn their sacrifices. So I kind of felt all in quite a few of the references here were done in a way where they were a little too coincidental. However, by having the leader of the cult named Malachi, all I could think of was Malachi from Children of the Corn, also involving an isolated murderous cult. Sadly, I think everything in the back half of the series regarding the cult made them a lot less interesting. The stuff going on in those first 3 episodes gave me slight A24 vibes, but then what we ended up with were major vibes of something like off the CW. The finale to this show was mega anticlimactic, with May's place in the chain being replaced, and then she just gets out and lives with Suzanne now. I know that we can see on the tree the image of Suzanne and May side by side, indicating that Suzanne is now more deeply linked with the cult, but still, it was just a bit of a bland ending. I've not even mentioned the dad yet. What a whirlwind of a plot thread that is. Some utter bellend tells him he wants to buy his house if he does some work on it. The dad goes off and does that work. Then the guy's like, yeah, actually, nah, sorry, I'm buying a different house. What a ball ache. So for the rest of the series, the dad's struggling with his loans and stuff. Like, I didn't really expect there to be a subplot about property development in a cult horror thriller series, but here we are. Honestly, I think I've just about covered everything I can. Devil in Ohio was remarkably unremarkable, while also not being bad. It's a pretty vanilla show for this genre that neither pushes the boat out nor smashes a bottle of champagne against it. It is what it is, which is probably the fairest comment I can give. Really enjoyed Madeleine Arthur in the May role. Naomi Tan, the young girl playing Danny, was pretty good for her age, and everyone else had a decent effort. Overall, okay production value, with the crow feather imagery and the soundtrack standing out here for me. Devil in Ohio, it was alright. Let me know in the comments below whether you agree or disagree with my thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, a cheeky sub would be much appreciated. I'm Connor from Unleash the Ghouls, and we shall see you next time for another honest review. Cheers out.